taken.
Playoff Rondo, yes. Playoff Drew Holiday as well. Just plain old Anthony Davis and the Pelicans up 2-0 after road wins, stunning the folks in Portland as they come back to the Big Easy with a chance to close it out before ever returning to Oregon. Post-game coverage continues here on NBA TV. Welcome in, everybody. David Griffin right there. Greg Anthony. I'm Matt Weiner. The Pelicans finished the game on a 12-2 run. Portland led 100-99. Pelicans, they executed on both ends of the floor, got some big shots, and the Blazers had at least a couple of instances in that stretch where they just failed to collect defensive rebounds that could have changed things.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans is proving to be the better team in the series, and that's with all due respect to what Portland's done in the regular season. And then down the stretch, though, I think the confidence that they have as a group right now, New Orleans, you know, they're a little quicker, a little more athletic at times, especially with that starting five and the experience. You know, you could just see they're putting a lot of pressure. Remember, this is a Portland team that was, I think, top 5 defensively in the league, and they had their struggles and their hands full tonight with how Drew Holiday and Rondo. And then don't forget about how good Anthony Davis was. Mirotic is playing solid. Their starting five has been really impressive in these two road wins.
Well, I think if you look what they've done, you know, we've talked earlier about the teams that had continuity in their lineup since the trade deadline and what they were going to be able to count on. And the lineup that they had in that went on the 12-2 run, that group of Rondo, Holiday, Etuan Moore, Mirotic, and Davis would have been 4th in the NBA had they played enough minutes to qualify for the best lineup in the league. Their overall net ratings plus 16.8 in the regular season, and they have the best defensive rating of any lineup Alvin Gentry can play, and you saw that. They were everywhere defensively. They were getting to every loose ball, and the trio of Mirotic, Holiday, and Davis tonight, 66 points, 24 rebounds. That's a recipe for success for any team when your 3 best players can carry you to the extent that those guys have.
Blazers actually out-rebounded the Pelicans for the game, but those late possessions that they couldn't collect, those are just killers at the end of games.
Yeah, and they'd been doing a really good job. Harkless and Aminu, when they were together, they were doing a good job of being able to be long enough to pressure everywhere defensively and still get back and hit the glass. And they just really hit a spot there where they were totally incapable of grabbing anything on the defensive side of the glass.
And don't forget, too, that lineup that you just talked about, the other benefit is it takes Nurkic off the floor. Terry Stotts hadn't had the confidence to play him. He only played 15 minutes in this game, only the 3 rebounds. And so from a matchup standpoint, and that's the thing about series like this one, it's the chess game that goes on. Which lineup can I put out there that you don't feel you can compete with, and what advantages does that create for me? And that's what's happened for them. Anthony Davis has been a nightmare for him, but it's really also because of Mirotic being at the 4. And one, Portland can't take advantage of him offensively, and then they can't match up with him defensively. And so that creates opportunities on the floor where all these guys are basically going to have opportunities to attack their man, and the defense can't load. It's really been positive from New Orleans' standpoint, and give Alvin Gentry a lot of credit for devising this scheme and putting a lineup out there that Portland has yet to figure out how to compete against.
That's a great point. Late in the game, the rookie Zach Collins was out there for Portland, much more mobile than Nurkic, but also a rookie and a really young rookie at that. He played well tonight, but that's not ideal for the Blazers.
And Terry Stotts deserves a lot of credit for playing him as much as he did. Zach was a big part of what they were doing coming down the stretch. So he was absolutely primed for this moment to the extent that a rookie can be. If it weren't for the 36-15 edge that Portland had in bench scoring, this could have been a runaway for New Orleans because their starters are absolutely dominating the series at the moment.
Drew Holiday with 33, a new postseason career high for him. He had 9 assists, as did Rondo. Rondo finished an assist shy of a triple-double and hit the biggest shot of the game, as it turned out. Let's take you through it play by play. Pelicans already playing with house money in Portland. Took game 1 the other night. Damian Lillard and the Blazers. A bad stretch here lately. had lost 7 straight postseason games. Holiday comes out with 12 in the first quarter.
Ooh,
Hammers that home.
that's 2 of them.
The ball.
I tell you what, great effort by Anthony Davis to come up with that second shot opportunity and a great find to get it to Holiday.
Holiday, what great patience.
He's crafty, and he finishes equally well with that left hand, which puts a lot of pressure on your defense.
Blazers need all hands on deck right now, including the hands of Ed Davis, who flies in for the dunk. Al-Farouq Aminu had a pretty good scoring night. 15 rebounds to go with his 14 points as well. And then C.J. McCollum doing what C.J. McCollum has always done, and that's score the basketball. He had 22. Portland up 56-47, and they led by 5 at the break. Anthony Davis, handful.
That's the matchup right there. That it is not a favorable one for the Blazers. And that's when he was able to go to work. But now when you take Nurkic out, that unleashes those other guys that have been playing so well here, as you see Davis with the beautiful finish.
Throw it up in the vicinity. He'll come down with it. Davis with 11 of his 22 in the third quarter. Blazers aren't done yet on the home floor. McCollum with the pull-up jumper, then Lillard.
That's a nice move, man. That is
special
sweet.
right there.
Dame was 7 of 18 for his 17 points. Game tied at 93. Holiday into the paint, deep, uses the body, shields himself, and drops it home. And then Drew for 3. As a team, they were 12 of 24.
They were, and that, though, was a mismatch. You had the young kid Collins out there on an island with Holiday, and Holiday made him pay.
You know, Rajon Rondo only hit 53s all season. He's a 33% shooter from 3 this regular season, but that was a huge one. If you're going to leave him that wide open, you're going to have to suffer the consequences. New Orleans wins it 111-102. They head back to the Big Easy with a chance to close it out. Alvin Gentry's already made his way to the microphone.
Good morning, Coach. Wow. I mean, we've got to start with what did you think about the performance of Drew Holiday tonight? You know, a big-time night from him.
Oh, I thought he was really, really good, but, I mean, he's been really, really good the whole season, so it's not, you know, this is not like a surprise or anything. You know, he's been great the whole season, and as I said, in my opinion, and I may be a little bit biased, but if you can tell me a better two-way player in the league right now, Kawhi's not playing, I understand that, but if you can tell me a better two-way player in the league right now, I'm willing to listen. But what we ask him to do and the things that we ask him to do offensively, he was just great tonight. But I thought our whole team did a good job. Once again, I thought it was a good team win because when we needed guys to step up, you know, we had different guys that stepped up and made big plays for us. On the left, please.
Just kind of overall thoughts, Alvin, on leaving here 2-0. I don't think anybody predicted. I think everybody on ESPN, 22 analysts, picked Portland to at least win one of these games, and now you're leaving here, going back to New Orleans up 2-0.
I guess it's great that we don't listen to the analysts then. You know, to me, we got 2 wins. We still got to get 2 more wins. So we're not, you know, overly excited about anything because, you know, we still have 2 more games that we have to win. And we're playing against a really, really well-coached, great team. And, you know, we've done an exceptional job on those 2 guards, and you never know when they're just going to go off. And so we're not celebrating anything. We're not doing anything. We've got 2 wins. We have to come up with 2 more. That was our message to the team, and that was their message to each other, that we hadn't done anything yet. We've got 2 wins unless we've got to try to find a way to get 2 more. In the middle.
Alvin, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. A couple of questions about Drew. First of all, his role in defending their guards, it seems to be the central aspect of your game plan. Can you talk about some of the things that he's been doing on the floor with all the offense? And secondly, why do you think he is not clearly the guy that everybody thinks about when they think of two-way players in the league?
I don't. First, I'll answer the second part first. I don't understand because he's done it the whole season. This is not something, you know, that has happened over the last, you know, 10, 12 games. He's done it for the entire season where we ask him to guard the best perimeter player, and we ask him to do it while we're also wanting him to get 20 points for us every night out. So it's really tough. And I think what he is, he just locks in. I mean, we ask him to guard, both those guys. If one heat up a little bit, then we put him on that particular guy, and he's answered the bell every time. So as I said, I just thought that he started the game tonight really getting the ball and driving it to the basket, and was able to, to score some easy hoops, driving it to the basket, and then they begin to switch, and we like the mismatch that he had when they switched the things, and I thought he just came through for us.
On your left, Coach.
Rod Walker with the New Orleans Advocate. Coach, how big was that stretch there in the end of the third quarter when Drew picked up his fourth foul and the team was able to kind of withstand that and outscore them 12 to 10 to close the quarter?
I think he's smart enough to play with fouls, and more so than anything, we wanted to get him out for a few minutes to give him a rest, because we knew that down the stretch we were going to have those guys. And what we try to do over the course of the game is that we try to save as many timeouts as we can, so that if we have to use them as rest timeouts, we can use them as rest timeouts also.
In the middle, Coach.
Oven from Hoops UIL. Rajon Rondo had 17 assists in the first game, and tonight it seems like Portland managed to deflect some of his pass to Davis. Instead, he gave you two clutch three-pointers and several points at the fourth quarter. Were you expecting this kind of offensive performance from him?
Well, I don't know where that playoff Rondo name came from. I don't know who came up with that, but he is a guy that, if you can remember last year in the Chicago-Boston series, he had them in the same situation, where they went in and won 2 games in Boston, and then he was hurt. But he's just a guy that he really have command of the team. The guys really believe in him. They swung him the ball and they wanted him to shoot it, and in those situations, I like his chances, because I know, what a competitor he is, and I know that the chances of him making that shot are pretty good if they're going to leave him wide open.
You knew the way y'all were trapping Dame, eventually he would start trying to force his way into this game. He hit that big 4-point play to tie the game. What did you think about the way the team responded from that point?
Oh, as I said, I got so much respect for Lillard. I just think he's one of those guys that he's going to try to will his way through anything, and he's always been a guy that had to earn it. No one really had to go to school at a place, didn't get very many offers. So you got to understand that he's never going to give up. He's never going to give up, and he's going to continue to attack and attack and attack. And I thought we responded well. It was a great shot. He made a great shot, but we went right back down and scored. And I think that, our guys have had a real calmness about them in this series so far. They hadn't let anything bother them. And, we've executed when we really needed to.
Back right.
Coach, you kind of answered the question there, but how has this team been able to keep its composure when that arena gets so fired up? It seems like every time they needed a response or a big shot, they hit it tonight.
Well, we've been a pretty good road team all season long. As a matter of fact, I think we had the 4th best road record or 5th best road record in the league. So, it's not unusual for us to play well on the road. And I just think our guys just felt like if we came in here and played to the abilities that we have and what we could do, that we would put ourselves in a position to win, and then we would have to make plays down the stretch to do it.
You were asked, Alvin, earlier today about heavy minutes and a quick turnaround with the next game being on Thursday night. Is that almost a positive now that you're up 2-0, that your team is going to play so soon with so much confidence?
Well, I think you just play, and everybody looks at minutes and everything. There's a guy in Cleveland that's about 65 years old, and he plays all game, and he plays all game very effectively. My guy, is 25 years old, and the other one is 26, and the other one is 29. So, I don't worry about minutes at this stage. I really don't. LeBron does it every night. 82 times he's done it, and 82 times has been way over 30 minutes. And so if he can do it, I think the other guys can do it. And to me, at this stage, you want your best players on the court as many minutes as they can possibly be out there. So, I don't worry about the minutes that we're playing them. We can rest all the way. We got a 4.5 hour plane ride that we can rest and sleep, and nobody will bother them. Yeah.
Coach, first playoff game in New Orleans in 3 years coming up on Thursday night. What are you kind of expecting from the crowd on Thursday night?
You know New Orleans. I don't have to tell you about that. It'll be about as festive as you can get there, and it'll be loud and very supportive, and that's the thing that I like about the people in New Orleans. But you know what? In all honesty, guys, they've been that way when we've struggled. Obviously we've struggled for 2 years, and they've been very supportive and very positive, and this will be great for them, and nobody is more deserving than the fans that we have. Back left.
When you put the ball in Drew's hands, how confident are you that you're going to get a good shot out of that possession?
Pretty confident. Pretty confident. I think he's so underrated as as just a guard that can do things on the floor. He can get in the basket against just about anybody that there is. His outside shot has really improved. And, we knew that he was going to square up. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to take the long three. When the clock got to 5, I knew that he wasn't going to drive that one. But I thought he created separation enough that he got a good shot off.
Coach, have you seen Drew play with this much emotion, though? He's showing a lot of emotion out there on the court.
Not really. I think this is something that's fairly new for him. But, he's in a really good place also. I think he's in a really good place, and he's very confident in what he's doing and the way he's playing right now. Is that everybody? We still got 2 more games to win, so we're not celebrating anything, okay? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just a quick one. Why is it that Drew is in such a really good place, I guess, personally?
Well, I mean, he's been through some tough times lately. He's been through some tough times. First year he's injured. He's on, minute restrictions throughout the greater part of the season. And then, everybody's familiar with the situation with his wife and what they had to go through there. And everybody's, healthy and in a good place now. And so I think, mentally he's in a real good place.
Sorry, Coach, last question. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
You talked a lot about offensive rebound. Oh, sorry. You talked about offensive rebounds. They had 10 in the first half, and then things changed a little bit in the second half, and you had a couple of big ones late off the missed free throws. What changed?
I thought we were a lot more active as far as boxing out. They're really, really a good offensive rebounding team in that when the ball goes up, they're always trying to maneuver to get inside position, and, they do a great job of it. I just thought that we had to be much more aware when the ball is shot. We had to try to step out and make contact first before we pursued the ball, because when we didn't do that, a lot of the times that they beat us, especially early in the game, they just beat us to the ball. All right, thanks, guys.
Head coach Alvin Gentry in the proverbial catbird seat, up 2-0. Mark Ingram, Saints running back, is excited. Pell's coming back with a 2-0 lead.
Should be excited, man. That was an impressive performance.
That was.
That was special. That really was special to watch the way they performed. And, you get a better appreciation for Alvin Gentry and this New Orleans team because they also went through their own adversity, losing DeMarcus Cousins, having to kind of revamp the way they play. And it's been impressive watching them in person. You look at them, and every time I watch them, I start wondering what their ceiling is. Just how good can they be? Because they're not that deep. That's the one concern, right. One area where if a guy gets in foul trouble,
yep.
that's something you got to be concerned about. But, man, I tell you what, when they're clicking, they are a handful because of how good they are on both sides of the ball.
Well, to your point about the depth, they've been outscored 27-16 and 36-15 in the 2 games off the bench. And that's really the only thing that's made this interesting so far for Portland. They're getting so much from the bench. I think a couple things stood out for me tonight watching the game. Dell Demps probably hasn't gotten nearly enough credit for acquiring Mirotic in the way he did. Mm-hmm. Not only did he bring Mirotic in, who is a perfect fit with the rest of their group, he moved out the money of Ashik and only had to give up 1 pick to do that.
Right.
The fit of this group really allows for Rondo to be Rondo as well.
Well, Terry Stotts, down 0-2, has reached the microphone. Let's listen.
What happened tonight in that effect, you think?
Well, I think, as I said before, Drew Holiday and Rajon Rondo are exceptional defensive point guards, and they've made a concerted effort to double team and blitz our pick and rolls and get the ball out of their hands. So it's nothing that we haven't seen before. It's just they're doing a good job with it. But honestly, I don't know. The third quarter was the turning point, both from an offensive point and defensive standpoint. Whether it's the way they're attacking our guards or not, I'm not sure, but I mean that's what they're trying to do.
Dame and CJ typically, get their shots and get their points every night in big bunches. What is it about Holiday in particular that has made life a little difficult for both of them in this series?
Drew Holiday has good length. He has good strength. He's a smart defender. Size. He's experienced. He's always been a good defender. No matter who he's guarding. I mean, he's had a career of being a good defensive guard.
Coach A.J. McCord, CBS Portland. What did you see different between Nurk's playing Game 1 and Game 2? Seemed like he was attacking the rim a little bit more tonight. Was that part of the game plan? How did you feel about his decision making?
I thought his decision making was fine. He struggled to finish some baskets early. Third quarter, he went out with a mild injury, and then it was just the matchups decided to go with Chief guarding Davis. So, but I thought he really gave a good effort. He got tired in the first quarter because he spent a lot of energy rolling and getting some rebounds. But in some ways, I thought his decision making was good in Game 1 as well. So it was just, I know he was frustrated, not that he had some opportunities that he didn't finish.
Coach, Travis Demers, Rip City Radio. Was Nurk available to return when he came back from the locker room?
Yes.
And what about Evan Turner? Is there an update on him yet?
No update.
Thank you.
He was not available.
Any questions? On the left, Coach.
Serena Winters, NBC Sports Northwest. Mo's first game back, it seemed like he got into a good rhythm there early. What did you just make of his first back?
I thought he was terrific. He had, we weren't going to play him as many minutes as we played him, but he handled it well. But he was active. He played good defense. Obviously 5 for 5. I couldn't have asked for much more for a guy who'd been out for 3 weeks.
Terry, you're down 0-2 now going to New Orleans for games 3 and 4 in a pretty bad hole. How do you feel about where you are at this point?
Well, we got to win 2 games in New Orleans, and hopefully it's the next 2. But it's easy math. We got to go and win 2 in New Orleans, and I feel we're very capable of winning both games. Both games have been very tight. New Orleans has made the plays to win the games in the end, but it's what makes the playoff series great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Damien and CJ will be in here. Well, the math may be easy. The assignment's not as much when you're dealing with Anthony Davis and the Pelicans headed back home up 2-0.